Did anyone ever tell you that life after 80 could feel less like golden years and more like quiet survival? That may sound unsettling, but stick with me, because what we're about to explore could change how you prepare for your later years, or how you care for someone you love. This isn't about gloom and doom. This is about truth, the kind nobody puts on birthday cards or in retirement brochures. We often hear that aging brings wisdom, peace, and perspective. And while that's partly true, there's another side most people don't talk about. A side that includes quiet loneliness, subtle changes in your body, and the emotional weight of outliving those you've built your life with. If you're over 65 or love someone who is, this video is for you. We're going to walk through 7 raw and honest realities about life after 80, not to scare you, but to empower you. Because when you can name something, you can face it. And when you can face it, you can still live with purpose and dignity. So grab a cup of tea or coffee, settle in, and stay with us. What you'll hear may be tough, but it might also be exactly what you've been needing to understand. 1. The disappearing circle of people. One of the most jarring changes after age 80 isn't necessarily physical, it's social. You may wake up one day and realize that the once bustling phone rarely rings. Lunch dates become memories instead of routines. The circle that once held you up, friends, neighbors, church members, starts to quietly disappear. This doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen steadily. Some friends move to assisted living, others pass away, and even your own children or siblings become preoccupied with their own aging, careers, or grandchildren. What once felt like a community begins to feel like a void. It's not that people stop caring, it's that life keeps moving while your world contracts. And here's the painful truth. No one replaces those who are gone. Younger generations often can't fill that emotional space because they don't share your memories, your history, or your rhythm. That's when loneliness shifts from being situational to being existential. You're not just alone, you begin to feel unseen. But there's still agency here. Connection doesn't always require a crowd. It can start with one steady face. Joining a local book club, chatting with the same cashier weekly, mentoring someone younger, or even attending a senior exercise group can build meaningful links. Think of connection now not as rebuilding the past, but as sowing small seeds for the present. These relationships may not echo your high school memories, but they can still bring warmth, routine, and purpose. Your story isn't over. You may be the last one holding certain memories, but that doesn't make you irrelevant, it makes you vital. Whether you're sharing stories with a nurse, a neighbor, or a grandchild, you're passing along something no one else can. So yes, your circle may be shrinking, but your impact doesn't have to. You still matter, and someone out there is quietly waiting for your wisdom. 2. The body's quiet rebellion. Aging is often imagined as a slow, graceful decline, but for many people past 80, the reality feels more like a series of unpredictable betrayals. One day your knees cooperate, the next they ache so badly you cut your grocery trip short. Sleep comes easily one week, and the next, you're wide awake at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling. It's not always the severity of symptoms that wears you down, it's the inconsistency. Your appetite vanishes without warning. Your digestion rebels against food you've eaten for decades. A short walk that once energized you now requires a rest break halfway through. It's like your body's rewriting the rules without consulting you. And here's what often gets overlooked: the emotional toll of not being able to trust your own body. You begin to second-guess plans. Should I go out today? Will my legs hold up? Do I really feel up for company? On the outside, you might still look fine to others, but inside, you're constantly recalibrating, adjusting routines, skipping meals, choosing rest over socializing, not out of laziness, but preservation. But here's where quiet power lives. Instead of resisting these changes, many find strength in small rituals. Start your day with warm water and a gentle stretch. Sit in the sun for 10 minutes. Listen to your body without judging it. These modest acts send a message. I'm still here, still trying, still adapting. Don't let anyone tell you that slowing down means giving up. Moving more gently is not the same as surrendering. It's a form of wisdom, an internal understanding that life still has rhythm, just not the same beat it used to. Your body may not always feel like your ally, but treating it with kindness and patience can help restore some of that trust. And in doing so, you reclaim a small but meaningful sense of control. 3. When even family grows distant. One of the more subtle heartbreaks of growing older is realizing that even family, the people you've loved, raised, and sacrificed for, can drift away. It's rarely intentional. Life just happens. Your children are now grandparents, juggling their own health, careers, and responsibilities. Their visits may become shorter, their phone calls more rushed. And when holidays come around, you might find yourself seated a bit farther from the center of the celebration. In your younger years, you were the anchor, organizing birthdays, giving advice, offering help at the drop of a hat. But as roles shift, it can feel like your presence is less essential. Some elders describe this stage as being gently moved to the sidelines, not ignored, but no longer needed in the same way. This shift can be hard to articulate. You might catch yourself reminiscing more, clinging to old photos or replaying past conversations. The memories are rich, but new ones feel harder to make, and sometimes that silence becomes heavy. But here's an empowering truth. You don't have to wait to be invited back in. You can initiate, write letters, call first, say yes to that community center game night, even if it feels unfamiliar. Being proactive may feel uncomfortable at first, but it's often the only way to reclaim connection. Also, try reframing what closeness looks like now. While daily interaction may not happen, small gestures still carry weight. A 5-minute phone call, a shared show to talk about, even texting a photo or memory. And if your family truly is too absorbed in their world, extend your energy elsewhere. Many older adults find deep joy mentoring, volunteering, or simply showing up where they're appreciated. You are not forgotten. Sometimes the world just needs a gentle reminder of how much wisdom and love you still hold. And when you offer it willingly, without resentment but with grace, you might be surprised who comes back closer. 4. The heavy burden of outliving the people you love. There's a kind of grief that doesn't come all at once. It accumulates slowly, year after year. By the time you reach 80, it's not unusual to realize that you've outlived most of the people who knew you best. Not just acquaintances, but the ones who shared your history, your spouse, your childhood friends, even your siblings. You carry memories that no one else remembers, and that kind of aloneness runs deeper than simply being by yourself. You might catch yourself laughing at an old memory, only to feel the ache that no one else is alive to remember it with you. Birthdays come and go without the people who used to sing to you. Holidays are filled with faces that don't recall how the traditions began. It's not just about who's missing from the room, it's about being the only one left who holds the full story. This stage can bring up unexpected guilt. Why am I still here when they're not? Did I call enough? Did I say everything I should have? That kind of survivor's grief can feel confusing, especially when others don't seem to notice the invisible weight you're carrying. But here's the reframe. There's quiet strength in being the one who remembers. There's power in sharing the stories of those who've passed on. When you tell your granddaughter about your brother's wild sense of humor, or explain to a neighbor why you keep a certain photo in your kitchen, you're keeping a legacy alive. And in doing that, you're not just honoring the past, you're giving it meaning in the present. Yes, you've said more goodbyes than most, but that means you've also loved deeply, built bonds that mattered, and lived long enough to keep their stories alive. That is not a burden. It's a rare and sacred role. 5. The subtle loss of personal freedom. After 80, one of the more frustrating changes isn't what you can't do, it's what others assume you can't. Even if your mind is sharp and your decisions sound, people may begin to make choices for you. Sometimes it's wrapped in love. Other times, it's laced with anxiety. But the result is the same, a slow erosion of your independence. It might start with your children insisting on driving you everywhere, even if you still feel confident behind the wheel. Or they begin monitoring what you eat, gently steering your daily schedule, or reminding you about things you haven't asked for help with. It's rarely meant to offend, But over time, it can feel like your autonomy is being chipped away. Joyce, an 84-year-old retired teacher, shared how her daughter began scheduling every hour of her day, from morning walks to afternoon TV time. It came from love, she said, but I felt like I had become someone's task list instead of a person. That feeling is more common than people admit. As we age, concern from loved ones can turn into control, even if we're still capable. And that control, no matter how well-intended, can feel like an invisible cage. But here's the truth. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's healthy. You have every right to say, "Thank you, but I've got this." You've spent a lifetime making decisions, solving problems, and caring for others. That wisdom doesn't disappear with age. Let your loved ones know what kind of help you want, and when you don't want it, be clear about your preferences. Advocate for your space, your time, your choices, and remember, the more you assert your independence, the more confident and connected you'll remain. Aging doesn't mean surrendering your voice. In fact, it's the perfect time to use it, loudly and proudly, because you've earned it. 6. The emotional cost of outliving others. After 80, grief doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just lingers, quiet, ever-present, woven into your routine like an old song playing softly in the background. It's the grief of living in a world that's moving forward while the people who shaped your past gradually disappear. This isn't just about missing a friend who passed or mourning a lost spouse. It's the deeper realization that no one left remembers you as you once were. No one recalls your inside jokes from your 20s or the way you danced at your wedding. It's the loneliness of knowing you're the only keeper of certain memories, and the emotional fatigue that comes with carrying that history alone. Charles, 87, once said, "I've been to more funerals in the past 5 years than birthday parties." That sentiment isn't rare. It's a quiet truth many older adults share, but hesitate to speak aloud. Because grief at this age isn't always about tears. It's about absence, and about how much strength it takes just to keep showing up every day. So what can be done? For many, survival means staying open to new bonds, even when the heart feels guarded. That could mean inviting a new neighbor over for coffee, attending a church potluck, or joining a local senior choir, anything that reminds you that connection is still possible. It's not about replacing those you've lost, no one can, but building new rhythms of companionship, even if they look different than before, can help balance the ache of loss. Don't be ashamed of your sadness. Let it walk beside you, but don't let it anchor you in place. Life may be quieter now, but it's still calling, and you still have laughter to share, stories to tell, and presence to offer. Even if the crowd is smaller, your life still echoes. 7. Facing your own fragility with grace. Perhaps the most humbling part of aging after 80 is not the major health events, but the tiny daily reminders that your body is no longer as dependable as it once was. It's the shake in your hands when you pour coffee, the extra effort it takes to rise from a soft chair, the occasional stumble that wasn't there last year. These aren't dramatic changes, but they accumulate, and they chip away at confidence. Suddenly, you're thinking twice about walking to the mailbox alone or carrying a full laundry basket up the stairs. Plans become filtered through a new lens. Is it safe? Rather than, do I want to? And while some people resist these limitations, determined to act 60 even at 85, there's a deeper strength in learning to adapt. Take Nancy, 84, who now uses a cane. She doesn't hide it. She calls it her badge of miles traveled. For her, embracing tools and adjustments isn't giving up. It's taking charge. That mindset matters. When you accept your fragility with grace, you actually preserve your independence longer. Because you're being proactive. You're choosing to walk with a cane rather than fall. You're asking for help with a ladder rather than risking injury. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. And the truth is, you've been strong for decades. You've carried burdens, raised families, worked hard, endured pain. Needing more rest now or being more cautious isn't a defeat. It's a well-earned evolution. So instead of hiding your limitations, work with them. Build routines that support you. Use assistive tools proudly. Choose rest when needed without apology. These acts are not signs of decline. They are signs of a life still being lived on your terms. Aging gracefully isn't about pretending nothing's changed. It's about standing tall in who you become, resilient, wise, and still moving forward, even if a little slower. Getting older after 80 is not just a physical journey. It's a deeply emotional and spiritual one. You face change after change, many of them unwelcome, some of them invisible to others. And yet, here you are, still showing up, still adapting, still offering something no one else can. Perspective born from experience. You've outlived chapters, people, and even versions of yourself. That's no small thing. It takes courage to face each day when your body is slower, your circle is smaller, and your memories are fuller than your calendar. But in all of that, there is still power. Power and truth in choosing how you respond, and in realizing your story still matters. So don't shrink away. Speak up. Set boundaries. Make new connections. Accept help when needed, but never let anyone mistake that for surrender. You are still the author of your life. If this message resonated with you, please let us know in the comments. What insight from today meant the most to you? And how will you apply it to your life or someone else's? And if you found this video meaningful, like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue creating honest, helpful content for you and for everyone walking the same path. Thank you for being here.